The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score Breakdown Show presented by Hoop Ball. My name is Adrian Benjamins and I'm joined by Neil Rochlani. And this episode is brought to you by Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company. Taste the Kona difference. Head over to hawaiianisles.com and Amazon and get some delicious coffee. Neil, how are you doing, my man? It is Fat Tuesday.
It is. It is Fat Tuesday. Yeah.
Did you load up on food and did you get fat tonight?
You know what I've been loading up on? Girl Scout cookies.
Ooh,
I've been
yes.
overdosing. I got my.
What's your Girl Scout cookie of choice? Your first choice.
I go Tagalongs. I'm a big peanut butter freak. And then I do Thin Mints. Those two.
Okay. Thin Mints. Thin Mints are my number one. I do like the Tagalongs, and I put them in the freezer.
Yes.
And they get cold. Oh, I love it, man. No joke, I eat an entire sleeve in one sitting. Like whole sleeve of Thin Mints.
I think I'm right there with you. I got these on Sunday. I got 5 boxes. I got 2.5 left. It's Tuesday.
Man, you and I are so much alike, man. It is hilarious. Oh, yes. Girl Scout cookie season is the best, man. Is the best. What else is going on, man?
I totally forgot about this whole Mardi Gras thing. I've been down to New Orleans for Jazz Festival a couple times, but never down for Mardi Gras. It's a little too intense for me, and now clearly I'm way too old for something like that. But Fat Tuesday. How about you?
I am Catholic, and we celebrate tomorrow's Ash Wednesday, which is the start of Lent. Mm-hmm. I got to give something up for Lent. I'm probably going to sacrifice either alcohol or sweets, and it's going to be very tough. But I feel cheated, Neil, because I just realized it was Fat Tuesday about 10 minutes ago. Yeah. And I told my wife, I'm like, man, if I knew it was Fat Tuesday, I would have got the burrito, the wet burrito. I would have got a margarita. Like, I would have went big if I knew it was Fat Tuesday. And now it's like 8:30, and it's too late for me to take advantage of Fat Tuesday.
Oh, man. I'm so sorry. I don't practice. I'm not a practicing religious person, I should say. Hey, so I don't follow any of those things. Yeah.
And you know what? That is great. Even though I am a religious person, I never push my religion on anyone. I believe what works for you works for you. And so I'm not the type of person that to each their own. That's what I believe. So yes. But Neil, let's talk some hoops, man.
Yeah, we went in a little direction there, didn't we? From Fat Tuesday down to religious beliefs, yes.
Guys, we were not planning on heading down that direction. We just kind of went that way. So let's steer back on course. Like, all these hoops guys are like, what the heck are these two talking about? We tuned in here to talk fantasy hoops. So let's get back on track, guys. Neil, do you see anything news or noteworthy that you think we need to mention before we jump in to the box score?
No, not really. I mean, Kuzma had an MRI that came back fine. So hopefully he won't miss any time. That's really it. I don't see anything else injury-wise.
Speaking of Kuzma, can I tell you how funny? I live in the Southern California area. I'm in Laker Nation. My home league is like all Laker fans, and so we are on this group text. And can I tell you how funny yesterday was, Neil? Because in this group text, all the guys were all hyped. Oh, the Lakers are going to beat the Clippers. They're going to get back into this playoff race. It quickly went from hype and thoughts that the Lakers are going to turn around. It quickly went to that to let's tank for Zion. And I thought it was hilarious, man. I was like, how quickly the narrative changed for Laker fans here, man. I thought it was hilarious to see all these guys in my league they were so excited for the Lakers to beat the Clippers, and then it's Zion, here we come.
I think that's their better. Well, they're not going to get in the bottom 3, unfortunately, but I think they might be out of the playoffs. They're 6 games back, and ain't a whole lot of games left. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
tough. Yeah, it's gonna be really tough.
Yeah. And with Kuzma going down, I think that they should kind of scale back LeBron, right, Neil? I mean,
Yeah.
why run the tires out on LeBron when it's clearly the goal is for next year. The goal is for them to add an elite free agent and go for it next year. So why not save LeBron for next year, right? I know LeBron doesn't want to sit. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think they're gonna find a reason to sit him in here about 2 weeks or so. I think he's gonna start playing fewer minutes. I think he's gonna start sitting some games, maybe mid-March, maybe end of March, and then through the end of the season. So if you have him, it might be a little touch and go as far as fantasy. I'm a little worried about his production and minutes going forward.
Yeah, I am too. All right, you guys. I think are you ready to jump into the
I
box
am.
score?
I believe it's my turn to start.
Okay, dokie. I won't
Okay.
argue with that.
All right. Tuesday night, usually not a big night, but it's a decent night. We've got, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't count. 6. All right. We got 5 completed as of this very moment. I got Orlando, Philadelphia as the first game. Orlando falls 106-114 on the Magic side. Nice game here from Aaron Gordon. 24 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 3-pointers, shot 50% from the floor. Jonathan Isaac, Adrian's new favorite player. Well, I wouldn't say new favorite player, but someone he's hung on to and has paid off somewhat. 16 points tonight, 5 rebounds, and a block. 4 3-pointers, though, so really dialed it up there. Vucevic, kind of a quiet night for him, but he did double-double, 12 and 12. With a steal, not much else. TJ Augustine, a low-end starting point guard line. Evan Fournier, he has this every once in a while. He'll just knock down a bunch of shots. He does it tonight. 25 points, 5 3-pointers. Only thing here that's kind of interesting is Isaiah Briscoe got 26 minutes, but did not really do much fantasy-wise. Terrence Ross, it looks like, did not play tonight, so that is why. So I don't think anyone's going to rush out to pick up Briscoe, but those minutes are misleading. And no changes here from me on Orlando. Any thoughts from you?
Not much for me to add. Not much for me. Been pretty excited about Jonathan Isaac. Really glad that Evan Fournier had a nice game here, Neil, in the Hoop Ball Staff League. I'm in a tough matchup right now. I have Evan Fournier, so really happy to see this game with the 5 threes here tonight. That's outstanding. And, they're saying with Terrence Ross, a sore left Achilles, I would imagine we see him back soon. I don't think he's going to miss too much time. So as you said, we could likely just ignore Briscoe. Okay, I'm going to jump over on the Sixers side. We're still missing Joel Embiid, Neil. I think it's at least 2 more games, they said. So fingers crossed that we get him back by the end of the week, maybe. Let's all hope for the best. But Ben Simmons has been balling and flirting with the triple-double, 16 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, a block, 6 of 15 from the field on 4 of 5 shooting. Jimmy Butler with 14 points, 3 steals, 4 assists, 2 rebounds on 5 of 10 shooting, a perfect 4 of 4 from the line. Tobias Harris. Neil, I know a lot of people were worried when Tobias Harris made this trade. Yes, he's seeing somewhat of a boost with Embiid being out, but you gotta be pretty happy that he has still been putting up some nice value and did not disappoint here tonight. 21 points, 2 steals, a block with 5 assists, 12 boards, a 3. He shot 8 of 15, a perfect 4-4 from the line, an outstanding game from Tobias Harris. JJ Redick has been scoring very nicely, 26 points. He's always good for some threes, had 6 of them tonight. That's outstanding. He shot 8 of 16 for 4 of 4 from the line as well. He even added 5 rebounds, which is nice. Johnson got the start, 13 points. 2 blocks, a steal, 2 assists, 5 boards. Not a bad game from him in just 20 minutes. He also had a 3 and shot 5 of 9 from the field. Off the bench, not much to add. I'm not even going to go in really on the bench guys because we know that it's really these main starter guys that are doing all the heavy lifting. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Sixers?
Yeah, nice stats all around. I mean, Tobias Harris, like you said, he has been really benefited from the absence of Embiid. He's put up stats like he did in LA. The one guy that I'm kind of flirting with here is Mike Scott. 28 minutes in relief for the injured Embiid. I don't think I'm going to do anything with it, but it's just interesting to see. If we see extended time, it's Aaron Johnson and then Mike Scott are the two players for him. So something to keep an eye on. If you're going to streaming, obviously with playoffs coming up and stream guys just on a night-to-night basis, Johnson and Scott can at least be looked at as potential pickups if Embiid's still out. That's all I got. Everything else kind of same. Bulls Pacers. My Chicago Bulls. My man, the Finn Reaper, is so sad. I had no idea that was his nickname until you told me. Mr. Lauri Markkanen, 34 minutes tonight, 14 points, 13 rebounds. Just shot 4 of 14. Struggled from deep, just 1 of 7, but had a decent game here. Porter Jr., I really love this guy. Tonight kind of struggled, though. 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on 3 of 11 shooting. Excuse me. He did have 4 steals, 2 blocks, and a 3-pointer. So got it done in other categories. Robin Lopez, this guy, I believe he's top 70 since he's kind of hit this hot streak here. He's been playing 30 minutes every game. 9 of 18 tonight. This is like old school New York Knicks. Patrick Ewing, throw it in the post and let Robin Lopez go to work. Basketball, 20 points tonight, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 blocks. He'll get rebounds. He won't get a lot of rebounds. He'll get blocks, I should say, and have good field goal percentage and good free throw percentage. Chris Dunn, I threw him in there tonight in my starting lineup. He has been on fire tonight. Cooled off, 5.7 rebounds. Did have 5 assists and 2 steals, so not a total disaster. Zach LaVine had a Zach LaVine-like night. 27 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Took 22 shots, made 10 of them. Let's see. The bench, Selden 24, Archie Diacono 24 minutes. Shaquille Harrison, he's probably the one guy I like in terms of future value. I think he's the most talented bench player. Clearly not doing anything this year fantasy-wise or reality-wise, but I think he has a future career in the league. So maybe keep an eye on him to see what, deeper leagues next year. Anyway, that's not much else changes. What are your thoughts on the Bulls?
Neil, you were saying before the All-Star break, you were really high on Robin Lopez, and you were right on, man. He has looked fantastic. And just by necessity, man, they're giving him big minutes, and we know he can provide some nice value in this role with this minute. So that was a great call on Robin Lopez. And not too much else from me to add. I'm going to jump over on the Pacers side, and I'm going to start with Darren Collison has been solid. This was a great game from him. 22 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 threes, shot an efficient 7 of 10 from the field, 5 of 6 from the line. It's a great game from him. Miles Turner didn't shoot well, was only 3 of 11, but flirted with a triple-double. Flirted with the triple-double with blocks, Neil. 10 points, 7 blocks with 2 assists and 11 rebounds. So you got to love that. He even gave you a 3 tonight. So, even though the shooting wasn't great, still did a lot in these other categories. So that's outstanding. Thad Young has been pretty good all season. 11 points, 6 assists, 10 rebounds, 5 of 13 shooting. He gave you a 3. Bogdanovich. Neil, I can't remember the last time we did this box score thing and I looked at Bogdanovich's line and was disappointed. He scores over 20 points every single time I look at his line. And tonight was no different, man. 27 points, 2 steals, an assist, 6 rebounds, 5 of 6 from the line. He had 4 threes tonight, was 4 of 5 from downtown. What a great efficient for him to be that efficient from deep is outstanding. 9 of 14 from the field. He's having a good season. What a good fit on this team. Matthews, 10 points, a steal, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 threes. Nobody to talk about on the bench, man. Tyreek Evans, lost season for him. He's been forgotten. Nobody else to even mention. Oh, I do have one guy to mention, Sabonis. It sounds like he's going to miss at least another game. So I think they're on a 2-game road trip. I don't even think he's traveling with the team. So I would expect him to miss, I think, Thursday is their next game. Maybe we see him this weekend. Neil, I have him in a lot of leagues, so my fingers are crossed. We see him after Thursday's game. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Pacers?
Yeah, Bogdanovich has had a phenomenal season. I wanted to get him this season. It did not work out. I was kind of hoping he'd fall to like a really late round, and it just never was able to pick him up. And whoever drafted him in all my leagues obviously has never dropped him. So he has been just raining threes all season. Let's see. Miles Turner, kind of a quiet night. Never mind. He had 7 blocks. Sorry, I missed that part. Matthews. Yeah, I guess he was someone I was watching, I should say, post-trade and thinking he might find a way into having some 3-and-D value, but it's just not good enough. 34 minutes against not a great Chicago team and couldn't get it done and hasn't got it done recently, so he's kind of off my radar. That's really it. Nothing else here. Hopefully it's a bonus. Like you said, we'll be back in a couple games and can get back to what he was doing. All right. Next game I've got here, Portland at Memphis. The NBA is so funny. Portland's been going everywhere and beating up on all these great teams. They go to Memphis and they lose. 111 to 120. Perhaps it's just fatigue. But anyway, on the Portland side, McCollum, nice to see him have a nice game here. 27 points on 9 of 13 shooting. Had a couple of rebounds, a couple of assists, 3 3-pointers, and a block. Damian Lillard, solid night from him. 24 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 3-pointers, 5 of 5 from the line. Nurkic, he cooled off tonight. He's been on fire tonight. Just 6 points. Did have 10 rebounds and 9 assists. So he's a good passing big man tonight. It bore out with 9 assists. Had a steal and 2 blocks. Aminu, quiet night. Harkless had a nice night here, but I'm still not touching him. This is what I had hoped he might be able to do consistently, but it's just every once in a while at best, and averaging out to outside the top 150. They picked up Rodney Hood and Enes Kanter. I thought Kanter would be much more consistent. This is kind of disappointing. I really thought he was a must-add guy. I mean, New York in 20-some minutes, he could do enough. Just getting 17 minutes tonight, just 11 points and 3 rebounds. Good percentages, but no defensive stats. He's not a big blocker. I mean, he's been doing okay, but obviously if you need to move on from him, it's not the end of the world. So that's my only take here is maybe Kanter is not a must-own guy. Can be owned, but not a must-own. Any thoughts on the Trailblazers?
Mo Harkless is starting to pique my interest a little bit, but as you said, has been really inconsistent. But I'm going to add him to the watch list after tonight. And if, he looked, shot 9 of 13 tonight. So he's really hot right now as far as his shot goes. So if he can keep this up, like if he does this again in the next game, I might jump on him in my deeper leagues to see if he can keep this hot streak going. But it does feel like somewhat of a long shot with how deep this team is out on the wing spot. As you said, Neil, Kanter, Rodney Hood can blow up, Aminu. So a lot of competition there on the wing. All right. I'm going to jump over on the Memphis side. And Neil, I think we need to make sure Delon Wright is picked up in rostered in standard leagues. 25 points off the bench, 2 steals, a block, an assist, 4 rebounds. And what I really like is he did this, shot a very efficient 9 of 13 from the field. He had this production with Mike Conley starting. Mike Conley had a monster game. So I really like that Wright had a great game with Mike Conley also having a nice game. Mike Conley blew up for 40 points, a steal, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. He was 6 of 7 from 3-point range. 12 of 18 from the field, 10 of 15 from the line. Great game from him. I rolled with Avery Bradley tonight, even though he was iffy coming into this game. And, this is what I like about Avery Bradley. Even in a poor shooting night, only shot 5 of 14, still gave you some decent value with 14 points, 2 steals, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He had 3 threes, shot 1 of 2 from the line. So the shooting wasn't great. And so if this is Avery Bradley's floor, then he feels really safe if this is going to be a bad game from Avery Bradley. Holiday, well, man, he's really fallen off. 0 points in 25 minutes. That's pretty bad. Valanciunas, 17 points, 1 block, 2 rebounds, 1 3, 6 of 7 shooting from the field, 4 of 4 from the line. Very efficient. Little disappointed he only got 21 minutes, but he feels really safe right now, especially with JJJ out. If you want to roll with Joakim Noah in deeper leagues, that feels okay. He's getting some minutes right now with Rab kind of working his way back with JJJ out. So Noah had 9 points, 2 steals, 7 assists, 10 rebounds. Even though the scoring wasn't there, you love those 10 rebounds and those 7 assists. That's really nice. Not much else to talk about here. Neil, what do you think of the Memphis Grizzlies? Oh, by the way, I think Kyle Anderson is going to miss at least 2 more weeks. Likely, if you're still holding him, you're probably not because he's been out for a while. If a lot of people need to make the playoffs, feel free to move on from Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It looks like he is done for the season. I mean, for the fantasy season, he's not going to be relevant. Maybe in April he becomes relevant again or end of the month. I like what you said about Delon Wright. Off the bench, he has been a spark for these guys. He is definitely streamable. And then I hate to say Noah is too, but my God. He's been consistently decent. Not great, but pretty good and worth owning. And then finally, Avery Bradley. Yeah, this was an off night for him, but still 3 3-pointers and 2 steals. That's what I'm kind of looking at, those 2 categories for a guard that kind of hangs out on the wing. So not much else here. Mike Conley, he's one of my favorite players. Both reality and fantasy-wise. Good to see him having a nice game here. All right, next game I've got is Houston at Toronto. Adrian, I caught home to see the last half of the last quarter. So I thought Toronto was going to make a little push here and make it interesting, but Houston they got a lead and they kind of hung on all throughout the fourth quarter. 107-95. This is a team I cannot really figure out because just when I think they're kind of done, They beat some good teams on the road. We saw them go up to Golden State and win. We've seen them go now to Toronto and win, and go to Boston and win. That's impressive. The NBA playoffs are a lot more wide open than I think. Anyway, tonight it's Harden as usual, 35 points. He took 30 shots, 3 3-pointers, 3 steals, 8 of 8 from the line. Oh, golly. This guy is he's just owning the league right now. Chris Paul has a kind of a quiet night, just 1 of 10 shooting, so really struggled, but did put up 10 assists and 6 rebounds, 2 steals. Clint Capella, again, he likewise not that great, 9 points, did have 15 rebounds and a block and a steal. Eric Gordon, back to where we kind of expect him, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, not fantasy asset with that line. Same with PJ Tucker, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 2 3-pointers. Austin Rivers, a decent night off the bench, along with Gerald Green. But it's really just Paul, Capella, and Harden, of course. And Fareed is he injured? He's just not playing, is he?
I think he has a hip injury.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, I don't think he's fantasy relevant anymore. If you were with him, I think I still have him in one league. That's how bad I am. I'm kind of managing some of my rosters. So.
You know what? I think I do too, man. And like every day, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to drop Fareed. And I look at the players available, and I'm like, I think I'll wait another day.
I know. I think I have him in a 14-team league, and I'm like, is there really anyone really worth owning in this league that can? Anyway, I have my playoffs are next week, and I'm kind of locked into my seed, I think. So it doesn't really matter how I do this.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. You want to take the Toronto side? Or any thoughts on
Yes.
Houston, I should say, first?
Nothing else for me to add on Houston. You covered it all. Gonna jump in on Toronto. Um, Kyle Lowry, a little disappointing here. 8 points. He had 5 turnovers, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. He shot 4 of 16. That's ugly. The 5 turnovers are ugly. He was 0 of 5 from downtown. That is not great. But someone that is great is Pascal Siakam. 17 points with 3 assists, 10 boards, 2 threes on 7 of 12 shooting from the field. That's pretty good game from him. Kawhi Leonard, nice to see him back and having a good game. 26 points, a steal and assist with 6 rebounds, 1 3. He shot 10 of 22 from the field, 5 of 5 from the line. I rolled the dice again on Danny Green, and with his best buddy back, he actually played a little bit better. And, Neil, I have some hurt guys in this league where I'm rolling with Danny Green. So I'm just playing Danny Green so I don't fall behind in games because I literally am sitting on like 3 or 4 hurt guys in this league. So 14 points from Danny Green tonight, an assist, 5 rebounds, 4 threes, 4 of 13 shooting, man. Every shot he took was a 3. That's really strange. 2 of 2 from the line from him. Serge Ibaka getting the start. This pushed Marc Gasol to the bench. Ibaka, 10 points, 5 blocks is beautiful, 2 assists, 15 boards on 4 of 7 shooting. Marc Gasol off the bench. He played 18 minutes, only had 8 points, so that's really disappointing. Nobody else that we really trust off the bench. Neil, what do you think of the Raptors?
Yeah, I'm so interested in why Gasol only played 18 minutes. I don't see an injury thing here.
No foul trouble.
Yeah, no foul trouble, no injury news. And obviously the matchup is not great against Houston, but I don't know what they're doing. Part of me thinks they're just doing this to like not give away their team in the regular season, against someone they may face in the finals. I don't know. That's maybe just conspiracy theory. I'm just surprised they only played 17 minutes. At any rate, let's see. I think Gasol is still going to be the one to get 30 minutes, and Ibaka the one to get 17 to 20 on most nights. So, if you can sell high on Ibaka, I would do it. That's really it. Siakam continues just to be a stud. So happy about that guy. And a tough night for Lowry. All right, on to the next game. I've got Oklahoma City 120, Minnesota 131. I'm going to jump in on the OKC side. Let's start with Mr. Triple-Double. Oh, he falls short tonight. 38 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists. What's up with that, Russ? He did go 15 to 28. Took a bunch of shots, 5 3-pointers. He is probably the counting stat guy. His percentages have been a little off this year. 3 of 7 from the line. I don't know what is up with his free throw shooting this season. It's crazy. Adams doubles, 13 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists on 5 of 6 shooting. He's always very efficient. A steal and 3 blocks. Paul George back in action. Good to see this. 25 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He struggled as well. 8 of 25 from the field. 4 3-pointers on 14 attempts. A steal. Jeremy Grant, a very quiet line for him tonight. 10 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist on 3 of 9 shooting. 3 3-pointers and a block. Terrence Ferguson plays 16 minutes. No value. Dennis Schroeder has a decent game here. Low-end stats if you need it from a point guard. That is really it. No real changes. Good to see Paul George back and playing big minutes, 38 tonight. So fully healthy, it appears. And that's it. What are your thoughts on OKC?
You mentioned Russell Westbrook. And Neil, would you be surprised if I told you in 9 category leagues, he's currently putting up end of the 3rd round value? He's player 36. And it's because, as you mentioned, taking a nosedive in free throw percentage hurts you in turnovers, kills your field goal percentage. So killing you in 3 categories right now. So in 9 category leagues, man, I think it's real misconception on him. I mean, Neil, doesn't he get drafted like as an end of the 1st round type player? So keep that in mind next season, guys, is that in 9 category leagues, Russell Westbrook. We see these gaudy triple doubles and we think about how great he is, but a little bit deceiving in these 9-cat leagues. What do you think about it, Neil?
Yeah, it's so true. We tend to overvalue points for sure. That can, at least in the leagues I play in, I see that, and the counting stats as well. I mean, we forget that if you're in, especially rotisserie, I guess head-to-head you can punt a category and still win, but rotisserie is really hard to do that. And free throw percentage is just as important as points, And I think I'm guilty of it too, forgetting that. So, it's a good thing to mention. He always gets overvalued. I think part because of the counting stats, but part because he is, one of the biggest profile players in the game as well.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to jump over on the Minnesota side. I'll start with Jeff Teague. Doubled with 16 points, 12 assists, a steal, a block, 1 3. He was 5 of 7 from the field and 5 of 7 from the line. It's a good game from him. Andrew Wiggins, this is nice. 18 points, a steal, a block, 3 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 threes, 7 of 15 from the field. Really nice to see him sprinkle some production in on some of these other categories here. Karl Anthony Towns. Why didn't I start off with this guy? 41 points with 14 rebounds, an assist, 2 steals, 3 threes. He shot 8 of 10 from the line, 15 of 27 from the field. Outstanding game from Cat. Josh Okogie getting good minutes, but just putting up low-end production in a starting role. So ignore Okogie. Dario Saric, another guy I've been a little disappointed in. I have him, Neil, in the Hoop Ball Staff League. I've been sticking with him, but I expected more when he moved into the starting lineup. Only 10 points from him tonight, 2 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 threes on 3 of 5 shooting from the field. Off the bench, Derrick Rose is your guy if you want to own any of these bench guys. 19 points from him, 2 assists, 4 rebounds in 20 minutes. He shot 8 of 14 from the field. Nobody else that I trust here. Man, when is Robert Covington coming back? Please come back soon, man. He has missed. I can't remember the last time we saw this guy. It feels like it was last season. Neil, what do you think of the Timberwolves?
Yeah, Towns is he's so consistently great offensively. He's amazing. Saric, just 24 points again. 24 minutes, excuse me. He kind of confirms my suspicion not to own him. So glad about that. And then Adrian, on a personal note, I am trying to, every night I've got either Teague or Chris Dunn to start, and I always get it wrong. I went with Dunn tonight. Teague had the much better line. I had a suspicion, OKC's not a great team defensively. At least they haven't been against point guards, and Indiana's pretty good defensively. But Dunn's kind of been hot recently, and I thought he might continue that. They both play tomorrow. I don't know what to do. I'm going to toss a coin. We'll see.
I would just go by that matchup. You know what I mean? Who's got the depth? So I like what you're doing right now. And, Teague coming back off of that injury that he had, I think that was a week ago. Yeah. Maybe he's saw 33 minutes here tonight. So maybe he's really shot well tonight. So maybe he's starting to get going here. So I think eventually there'll come a point where you'll just go Teague most nights. But I love what you're doing right now. Who's got the better matchup, I think.
All right. That is comforting to know. All right. So that is it for all the games that are completed. And earlier I mentioned that this league is crazy. One of the reasons why I just said that, because I was looking at the Celtics at Golden State. Not over yet, but at halftime, Boston was up by 25 points.
Wow.
I know.
Surprising.
Boston always plays Golden State really well. I don't know what it is, but they match up really. They just match up against them, or Brad Stevens knows how to play that team.
Could possibly be a preview of the finals.
Yes.
What do you think? Or as you said earlier in the show, man, this year has been so unpredictable, right? It feels like anybody can beat anybody on a certain night. Like we saw the Suns take down some good teams just recently, but
that was crazy.
But and with the Celtics, man, what do you think of their chemistry issues that they're having right now?
That's the thing. I don't know how serious it is, because I thought it was, but now they are just balling against Golden State. They seem to be the best matchup against Golden State out of the East. I don't know if they're going to come out of the East, though. And, I mean, I want it to be a great playoffs. I mean, I'm still obviously thinking Golden State's going to find a way just to dominate the playoffs. But this regular season has been really interesting.
Man, I think I can't remember the last time I was this excited for the playoffs. I think we're going to have one for the ages, man, with so many good teams. Milwaukee, the Sixers, the Raptors, the Celtics in the West. It's nuts. So, man, I mean, I can't wait, man. I cannot wait.
I can't wait either. Because also Denver, how good are they going to be in the playoffs?
Yep.
I'm so interested to see how they do.
The Thunder are playing well.
Thunder.
You mentioned the Rockets, who you thought was going to take a dive, all of a sudden is playing well. I mean, it's ridiculous right now.
It is. And then Utah, I'm not going to rule them out either. I think they've got one of the best coaches, and they got a great team. And yikes. This does look like Sacramento may not make it, though. I'm kind of disappointed about that. It looks like they may not get there. So,
man, I thought when the Clippers traded Tobias Harris, I really thought they were going to just fall out. And they've been winning games. The Clippers might hold that like 7th seed, I think they're in now, or maybe fall to the 8th. But just the fact that they're going to make it after trading Tobias at the deadline is just crazy, man. Crazy stuff, Neil.
Crazy stuff. There'll be more crazy stuff tomorrow night.
All right.
But I still have one more game. You sign off, sir.
Okay, I am out of here, you guys. Neil will be back to give you the goodies on this Boston Warriors game. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hit us up on Twitter. He's at Ball with Neil. I'm at Adrian Benjamins. We'll be back again tomorrow night for another. I'm sure it's Wednesday, so it'll probably be a big night of action. And Neil will be back for one more. See you later.
All right. The Celtics do hang on and win in just convincing fashion here. Unbelievable. Inconceivable. The Celtics. 128. The Golden State Warriors 95. Threw in the towel there somewhere in the fourth quarter. So the minutes were light among starters. Tatum 27 minutes. Solid game. Monster block on Durant. If you didn't see it, YouTube that one. Horford played 22 minutes. Not much for him. 5 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And a steal. I should go back to Tatum's line. 17, 5, and 1. With 2 steals and 2 blocks. Marcus Morris plays just 17 minutes. 4 fouls. So got in foul trouble. Didn't play that much tonight. Didn't need to. Kyrie, 19 points, 11 assists, double-doubles there, 5 rebounds, 7 of 15 shooting. A couple big three-pointers. Marcus Smart, 25 minutes. Not a great line. The big line of the night was Hayward off the bench, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists on 12 of 16, 4 three-pointers, 3 steals. Let's see if this team is so stacked that he's not going to have obviously many 30-point games, but he may have respectable games. I'm hoping if you dropped and moved on, I wouldn't rush and pick him up. I think he's gonna be okay in terms of like outside the top 100, but inside the top 150 overall. May have some of these really nice nights, but it's not going to be terrific. I don't think on a night-to-night basis, so no reason to pick him up. If you have some complete dead weight that you don't know what to do with, like Kenneth Faried in my example, and Hayward happens to be out there, which I don't think he is in that 14-team league, you can pick him up. All right. Jaylen Brown had a solid game too, 18 points on 8 of 16 shooting, 2 3-pointers. Rozier played well in 23 minutes, 9, 5, and 5. Nice line from him, a steal and a block. Aaron Baines played some nice defense there. Not a lot of minutes. Golden State, they started, they were short Clay, so they got their other 4 in there with Alfonso McKinney, as the 5th starter. He played just 17 minutes, so we can't expect much usage from a substitute player. Cousins, this is a line I kind of would expect from him in addition to some of those good lines, to average out around, like I said, 40 to 50 range. Tonight, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 or 12 shooting. Durant, 18 points. He struggled shooting, just 5 of 16. Steph Curry, 8 of 16 shooting. Did have 4 3-pointers on 10 attempts, a steal. So the 3-pointers and steals were fine. 3-pointers and points were fine. 23 tonight. 4 assists, 3 rebounds, not much else. Draymond Green, very quiet night here. Just 5 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal and a block and a 3. Jordan Bell got some kind of cleanup mess time here. 23 minutes. Damian Lee, 27 minutes. Their bench just does not look deep. I think if Boston's bench could play the Warriors' bench, Boston would be a heavy favorite. I'm not sure how this will all play out in the playoffs. Of course, that's probably not what you're thinking. You're wondering if there's anyone you can trust outside the top players in Golden State. And, of course, the answer is no. Draymond, I'm guessing you just roll with him. He could have some decent nights, but he could have nights like this with getting kind of lost in the shuffle with all their superstardom. So no changes really here. We'll see when Klay gets back in there. And how this team heads into the playoffs. They've had some really tough home losses this year, some really big home losses. I think they're 4th double-digit loss at home. Still the odds-on favorite to take the whole thing, and they have the talent to do so. It's really their chemistry issues, and then just I think lack of drive, it seems, and I don't know if they'll be able to change that in the postseason. I imagine they will. I'm just rooting for something a little more interesting this year, so we'll see how it plays out. Anyway, that is going to do it for the Box Score Breakdown. Thanks again for listening. We are sponsored by Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company. You can find their products at hawaiianisles.com or on amazon.com. I can be found on Twitter at ballwithneil, BALLWITHNEIL, and we'll be back tomorrow night.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.